Hello, and welcome to the Texas Association Builders Zoom at Noon virtual education. Our session today is sponsored by Ferguson. My name is Robert Polka with Ferguson, and I'm excited to be here today to bring you this session on high performance building best practices. As always, the goal of TAB's education series is to offer an opportunity for you to gain new strategies and stay on top of the latest strategies within our industries as you adapt to new circumstances. So a little about Ferguson. Ferguson is a national distributor of building products ranging from rough-in piping through our residential finished products such as lighting, appliances, plumbing, and door hardware. We operate over 250 showrooms, including 22 that are in Texas. Operations in your Texas markets are staffed by over 1,300 great local associates that are continually trained to be an extension of your business. Your local warehouses are also supported by a network of distribution centers to help us maintain the best possible supply chain for your business. The products we carry are vetted to ensure that we are supplying the best in the industry, including our own brand offerings. We will continue to grow availability of your products from brick and mortar, as well as omni-channel solutions that allow us to use a combination of online shopping and traditional local deliveries. Some of our additions to our Ferguson family include Build.com, Signature Hardware, James Martin Vanities, Capital Distributing, and Millennium Lighting. The goal is simple: to provide you with the best products, along with the best processes to get them to your jobs day in and day out. So, in today's session, we will hear from Heather Lamneck, General Manager of Farrier Custom Homes. This session will focus on a combination of consumer demand and looming code changes by providing sufficient reasons for builders to find avenues to build more efficient and higher performing homes. Heather, who is based in the Fort Worth area, has a passion and insight to fuel her drive to see positive changes in the way America's homes are being built and remodeled. She is current chair of the NAHB Young Professionals Committee, second vice chair of the NAHB Sustainability and Green Building Subcommittee, and immediate past president of the Greater Fort Worth Builder Association. And now, here's Heather.
Thank you so much, Robert, for being here and for sponsoring today's session. We appreciate your sponsorship and your support, more importantly. So I am going to get my slideshow up. All right. Well, thank you everyone for being here today. We realize that you all have busy lives, and it means a lot that you took time out of your day to be here with us, and we hope that you find value. A little background on me: I'm a fourth generation in our company's custom home and remodeling company. We haven't always built high performance homes, but that is our specialty now. My grandfather and father built bridges all across the state of Texas for TxDOT. And amidst the oil crisis in the late 70s, my father started having folks come to him interested in energy efficient homes, and in particular in earth sheltered homes. So it got not only the concrete foundation, but also the walls and the roof. And they are the type of homes where you would mow the roof. And so they could find concrete contractors all day long that would pour the foundation, and some that would do the walls, but very rarely could they find one that would do the roof as well. So being or having a strong background in structural concrete, that's essentially what a bridge is. And so that was my father's foot in the door into residential construction. And ultimately, he just kept an open mind and continued learning, and we're still doing that today. So I hope what we show today shares a little bit about what we've learned and what we're still learning. I also want to point out I've got two people on my team in life, but also on standby today that have been really integral as part of our high performance building journey. One is James Rodriguez, who many of you know with Fox Energy Specialist. He's our home energy rater, and he's ultimately a valuable partner that helps us keep abreast of rapidly changing codes and their implications. He also is a pivotal partner to the certification of our home. So James is here, and is available for questions. And then also we have Jacqueline Toole, the AVP of NIHB's Sustainability and Green Building Program. As I've become more involved within NIHB, I became aware of the resources that they have for people that are interested in this topic. And I'm gonna hope to hit on that a little bit today. There's a lot that members and NIHB staff have pulled together, and it's there for you as members, so we hope you take advantage of it. So high performance building is important to the home building industry, consumers, and really the entire nation because it promotes lower total ownership costs through utility savings and increased durability, as well as an improved indoor living environment. And if we want to even take that a step further, it also encourages environmental awareness and stewardship and more efficient use of increasingly scarce resources and helps to conserve them for future generations. So if we step back and look at high performance building holistically, there are three primary layers for the case of change. Why would include motivating factors or benefits earned from high performance building, such as health concerns and responsible use of finite resources such as water. And the what homeowners are looking to achieve, such as lower energy bills or increased comfort, and how that we as builders approach building better homes. In general, we find that we create better performing homes when we pay special attention to these critical 6 areas in the design build process, which will be part of our focus today. And this is what we refer to as the energy pyramid, which borrows from the approach of the food pyramid, which many of you are likely very familiar with. At the base, the foundation is the most critical items such as design, airtightness, and insulation, and the items above add additional layers of efficiency. At the top of the pyramid are renewables, which can be the cherry on top if the budget allows. So starting with design, passive solar design is not necessarily a new concept. Driving down country roads, I'm sure we've seen this scene play out many times where the cattle are huddled in the shade of a tree. Native cliff dwellers understood their principle when they built into the cleft of rocks, which provided shading, security, and stability. As modern improvements found their way to the home building scene, we at times drifted from many of these simple but proven approaches. Ultimately, the foundation of passive solar design begins with responding to the natural environment, which includes sun angles, prevailing breezes, and shading. Once you understand how the sun impacts a home, you can strategically place windows, specify the depths of porches and overhangs, as well as intentionally place trees to provide shading. In this example on the screen, we were analyzing how much sun intrusion we would expect from a wall of windows the client was considering adding. Having your design team include these details can help you and your client make informed decisions. The red line representing the summer sun when the sun is 85 degrees on the horizon, and the blue line representing the winter sun when it's 35 degrees lower. And for what it's worth, the client did opt to include these windows in the scope based on the information that was provided here with a simple diagram. Concepts to pay close attention to during the design phase include those that are listed here, many of which don't necessarily require deep pockets, but forethought. That being said, it is understood that things like views, lot layout, and so forth limit your options at times. That is where techniques like supplemental shading can come into play. But having this perspective during the design and site placement process can give you a real head start when building a high performance home. The case for daylighting extends beyond reducing energy costs by helping heat or brighten a space without using electricity. Daylighting has also been associated with improved mood, enhanced morale, less fatigue, and reduced eye strain. And many studies show that the performance and productivity of workers in office, industrial, and retail environments can increase with the quality of light. Data from NIHB that I'll touch on later shows that many builders are already incorporating energy efficient techniques. And frankly, we could spend a whole day deep diving into all the options out there, but I just wanted to highlight some of the low hanging fruit here for consideration. On the properly sized AC, your mechanical contractor or home energy rater can run the manual J for AC and heating proper sizing, and manual D to properly sized supply and return ducts. What the Department of Energy Zero Energy Ready Home Program defines as solar ready is in the electrical panel, you leave a space to tie into solar. Adjacent to it, you plan for a space to install a future inverter. In the wall from the inverter to the roof, a capped conduit is installed for future PV supply lines to feed the inverter. The idea is that you can spend $700 during construction or $2,500 to add it later. And in that case, the conduit would be exposed on the exterior of the home. This is a great option for those considering solar, but are just not ready to incorporate it or pull the trigger into the project at this time. Here's an example of a certified zero energy ready home with a conduit installed and capped for future supply lines from the solar system. If we refer back to that energy pyramid momentarily, if you can work beyond the foundation, at the top you find renewables such as solar, wind, and geothermal. This picture is an example of a zero energy home we built just west of Fort Worth. And we worked with our solar contractor to determine the payback period based on the anticipated occupancy and usage. And in this instance, the homeowner felt like they would live in the home long enough to recoup those upfront costs. When we think of the home's envelope, insulation is likely the first component that comes to mind. Although insulation is a critical part of the holistic approach for high performance building, it is also important to pay close attention to the other components of a home's envelope. With advanced framing, by reducing the amount of wood incorporated into the project, you are reducing the number of thermal shorts in the walls. Air sealing is relatively cheap, so it's a great place to start, and blower door testing is a great way to QC your air sealing program. A benefit of the fluid applied barrier is that it eliminates reliance on tape, but it does come at a premium. And when it comes to windows and doors, Energy Star ultimately is measuring the performance compared to a baseline. So just be aware of the values associated with your windows and doors and how those compare to code. Here are a couple examples of advanced framing. The engineered trusses take less wood, and they line up with advanced framing in the walls below for support. And the other picture shows an insulated header with a 1/2 inch insulation. Here we have an example of properly installed flex ducts located within the insulated envelope of the home, as well as quick flash on exterior wall penetrations, which seals the penetrations from water and air intrusion. So the indoor environment can quickly become toxic if we create this super insulated envelope and fail to address the indoor air quality. Source control applies with limiting what's introduced inside the home. And this has particular implications if the home is occupied during like a remodel. And with dilution, we're intentionally introducing fresh air. ERVs have integrated filters, which provide an extra layer of filtration. And another lower cost option is introducing a motorized damper and a fresh air duct with a controller. And then our focus in filtration is on removing particulates and pollutants from the living environment with a high quality filtration system. COVID implications, which we will touch on more later, result in even more focus on indoor air quality, especially in commercial buildings. As an example, we just wrapped up a wedding venue that opted to incorporate 2 Halo LED air purification systems where all air brought into the building passes through UV light, which breaks down viruses and other harmful particulates. And in turn, that's become a feature they tout in their marketing campaign and has become a differentiation tool for them. Although most of our focus up to this point has been on energy, performance standards also extend to water efficiency as well. Some easily incorporated techniques and products are listed here. The good news is that more and more WaterSense certified fixtures are coming online. If it's something you're interested in digging more into, I would encourage you to reach out to your supplier, whether that be Ferguson's or someone else, and ask them what they offer and what kind of educational and demo opportunities they might have for your team. When I reference resilience here, it is in relation to not only disaster resilience, but long-term durability and maintenance requirements, essentially how the home stands up over its lifetime. On disaster resistance, a great tool is fortifiedhome.org. They offer a certification program, but even without certifying, you can glean information that they share. One of their tools, for instance, is that you can type in your zip code and they will provide insurance companies top claims for your area and how to mitigate. So for where we are in North Texas, our biggest threats are high winds, hail, tornadoes, and wildfires. Some of the suggested strategies to mitigate those hazards include Class 4 roof and hurricane straps with bearing plate washers, which are listed here. And many of our clients are baby boomers, which are looking to build a home that is likely the last home they will ever build. And they're looking to not only reduce energy consumption in an effort to save on utility bills, but also incorporate durable products that will require less maintenance. An example of this is James Hardie's Color Plus technology. The finish comes with a 15-year warranty and protects against peeling, cracking, and chipping. I once heard the phrase, passive home requires an active homeowner years ago, and it's so true. A homeowner's understanding of how their home operates and how to properly maintain it is so key to long-term operational efficiency. The tab D17 form, which is the homeowner maintenance guidelines, is a relatively new addition to the tab contracts package, but is one we are always sure to include. And it includes guidelines for things like vacuuming the air supply and air return registers to remove dust and lint. When certifying to LEED H, their program requires a homeowner walkthrough at the end of the job, which is really a great concept to incorporate, even if you're not certifying to their program. It provides them an opportunity as homeowners to ask questions and watch you demo proper use of various features in the home. And when it comes to certificates, homeowners love these. So we do not let them get stuck in a file somewhere. We have so many of our clients that have framed them and proudly display them in their home. And it's a great talking piece for their friends and family. And frankly, it's a great marketing piece for you as the builder as well. And one thing that we have gleaned from the Arctic blast on where we could have improved for homeowner education, as we're all too aware now, when there's no electricity to outdoor tankless units and we experience below freezing temps, in the absence of a generator, homeowners really need to turn off the water supply to release the pressure, which in turn would drain the water out of the unit and prevent it from freezing, expanding, and subsequently busting. That's something we could have done a better job educating our clients on, and you better believe that's in our homeowner manual now. Who would have thought, but it is a continual process. So the National Association of Home Builders, teamed with Dodge Data and Analytics, have been surveying single-family home builders every 3 to 6 years since 2006 regarding their level of green building activity. The results from the latest survey are packaged in this Green Single-Family and Multifamily Home Smart Market Brief 2020. It's available for free download from the NHB's website, which is linked, or it's here on the screen, and I believe we'll also put it in the chat. Survey was open to general contractors, home builders, remodelers, and developers from both single and multifamily markets within the United States, and over 2,000 people responded. I will point out that the surveys were conducted in fall 2019 prior to the COVID-19 outbreak, and even though market outlooks, construction practices, and consumer preferences will most likely change due to the pandemic, these results can be useful for builders as markets continue to open back up. Consumers have developed a heightened awareness of what works well and what doesn't after living in their homes for an extended period. They're likely to place a greater importance on factors like efficiency, comfort, and health when looking to remodel or buy their next home. These survey results help to identify and build on practices that were prevalent in the market before the outbreak and provide insight into builders' perceptions about green building market that can be combined with new consumer demands to help building professionals moving forward. Looking at market activity, this chart shows how often builders employ a type of green strategy, as well as how many reported doing so at least 75% of the time. One of the big takeaways of this edition of the survey is that almost all single-family builders use green practices at least some of the time, and some use them most of the time. For those who are asked frequently about them, NAHB asked what type of products consumers most often inquire about, and as the graph shows, energy efficient products and systems by far ranked highest, with 84% ranking it in their top 3, followed by those impacting indoor air quality, water conserving products and systems, and renewable energy systems. With health and wellness becoming more of a priority for so many, learning how to articulate how your homes meet those needs is more important than ever, which is reflected in these 2 member quotes. And consumers are understanding the link between their homes and health on a whole different scale. And this survey by the Shilton Group only further establishes that, with 18% of Americans more concerned about indoor air quality than before the pandemic. Here are the overall top energy conserving products and practices with their use broken out between all survey respondents and those doing 50% or more green projects. LEDs, energy efficient appliances, and right sizing the HVAC system are the most popular. These findings are consistent with previous green smart market studies as well. Green builders use all of these products and practices at higher percentages, but it is important to realize that these 8 strategies are all being used by at least half the respondents on at least half of their projects. This last year has caused homeowners and home buyers to be more aware of what is brought into, and sometimes more importantly, what is kept out of the home's environment. Integrating high performance strategies with an emphasis on indoor air quality helps you keep up with consumer demand and frankly deliver a better product, as can be seen by these member experiences. Survey respondents were also asked which terms they perceive as being the most effective for describing green features to customers. The top 2 terms, operating efficiency and long-term utility savings, both reflect the importance of having reduced operating cost, which was also a top reason builders believed all type of home buyers would pay more for high performance homes. The term high performance and sustainable ranked lower, and the term green did not even make the top results. These terms are used regularly by building science professionals, but are not seen as highly influencing customers. Even though builders cite constructing healthier and durable homes as top reasons to build green, those terms are not seen as being effective in influencing customers either. This may be connected both to the challenge of defining these terms and proving the results to customers. One thing we see time and again is that home buyers want to know more about home performance. This quote was taken from the Home Energy Information Guide, which was created from a partnership that included the U.S. Department of Energy and the National Association of Realtors to help real estate professionals and multiple listing services make the value of efficiency investments visible to homeowners and home buyers, which can improve their living experiences at home and increase resale value. So the question for us is, if studies are showing that home buyers want to know about home performance, what are we as builders telling them? By increasing the visibility of reliable home energy information with real estate transactions, the industry can address growing demand for efficient homes, promote consumer investment in related features and systems, and make transactions more efficient. The reality is that markets are most effective when buyers and sellers can easily access all relevant information, and this extends to home energy information as well. Jumping back to this NAHB Smart Market report briefly here, the participants were asked to select the ways they demonstrate to customers that a home, apartment, or condominium is green from a list of 6 options. The top 4 responses are shown here: Hearst score, third-party certifications, website marketing, and MLS information. Efficiency investments face a challenge in that they're not visible to buyers, like new countertops or a remodeled bathroom. When improvements are done well, they are completely out of sight in attics or behind walls, and with benefits that only become obvious after living in their home most times. Ways we can make these invisible elements visible is 1, the Hearst certificate. These labels can provide a numeric score rating to compare homes to an average or accepted standard. Third-party certification: if you have documentation showing certification through a third-party verifier, then this information can be included in the MLS as a green verification. And website marketing: according to the Demand Institute's Housing Satisfaction Gap Report, over 70% of households report that energy efficiency is important, but only 35% are satisfied with their current home's performance. This indicates a significant opportunity to improve homeowner satisfaction. Your website creates a great opportunity to tout what energy efficient features you are including in your projects. And lastly, the MLS. If it's a product that will be listed on the MLS, make sure to include information about the home's energy features, which can improve the home's desirability. And by using standardized green fields, professionals can easily and reliably search for homes with green features, certifications, and ratings. Here's an example of a home energy rating certificate from one of our previous projects. These labels disclose a home's energy assets and indicate how much energy a home is likely to use. The HERS index score, in this case a 2, compares a home's assets to those of a new home built to code. Similar to the EPA's estimated gas mileage of vehicles that we're all familiar with, these labels provide information about a home in a similar standardized way. Make sure your sales staff know how to articulate what the HERS score is and what it means. You can display the score and potential expected energy savings at open houses and in model homes. Here's a sampling of home certifications available to you to utilize on your high performance building path. Some take a more holistic approach, such as the NHB's Green Building Standard, while others focus on certain aspects, such as water efficiency or healthy indoor air environments. One approach we have found that's helpful is downloading the requirement checklist for programs such as these and discuss them with your team. Talk about what you're doing already, what could you be doing better? And in that way, they can be a great learning tool. Incorporating a third-party verifier into your process takes it a step beyond just a builder's claims and creates credibility by having an unbiased, independent review process. It is also a great quality control tool for your team, understanding not only the what, but also the why behind high-performance building principles. As previously mentioned, there's a specific spot on the MLS form that you can list green verification, so make sure you're taking advantage of that for homes that are listed. Understanding that buyers are seeking the benefits of high performance homes, it is important to identify the many features, both visible and hidden. Learning how to communicate the qualities and benefits of a high performance home to your client offers them a higher level of service and helps them more easily understand its value. By advertising high performance, you can shed light on how that might impact or reduce operating costs, and explain what they can't see. Again, making those invisible components visible. And lastly, highlight certifications and explain what they mean compared to a standard home being built next door. You can add energy information in the remarks sections of the listing. Green verification category can be found in the property section. So there has been a lot of work put into creating boxes to check when a home, specifically a high performance home, meets certain criteria. And doing so makes it easier to distinguish and search for high performance homes listed on the MLS, and ultimately helps improve the appraisal process and valuation of these homes. The Appraisal Institute created this residential green and energy efficient addendum with the objective to standardize the communication of the high performing features of residential properties. You can use this addendum to document the features behind the walls throughout the sales process. Fully documenting the systems you put into the home is imperative to helping the appraiser understand the value inherent in your above code home. The responsibility is on you as the builder to provide this information. Otherwise, it can get lost in the appraisal process. So, how to use the addendum. You want to attach the completed document to the MLS listing to provide sufficient detail on sales and listings to assist buyers, appraisers, and real estate agents in understanding high performance features of the property. And you want to complete the pages that apply to the property appraised and provide it to the appraiser prior to the completion of their appraisal. And then provide the addendum to the lender at the time of loan application to assist the lender in understanding the property type so that an appraiser with sufficient knowledge can be engaged. So now that the 2021 IECC has already been published, cities are likely to jump on board in the third and fourth quarters of this year. TAB has submitted a high priority bill that for a standalone compliance path that would not be tied to IECC codes. And I would just really encourage you to get with your rater to understand the possible implications and compliance moving forward. As I mentioned earlier, James with Fox Energy is on this call. So if you have questions for him related to particularly this, the changing codes, feel free to place them in that chat box and we'll save time at the end to go through those. A great resource that NAHB offers that I want to mention is a sustainability toolkit that includes the items listed here and many more. NAHB members and staff have worked to compile this wealth of information, so please reference it. It's a great way to continue the conversation on your high performance journey. If you go to nahb.org and search sustainability toolkit, it's there. And I believe we can also put the link in the chat box as well. But there's a lot of great data and case studies and marketing materials that you can instantly put to use. Another way you can dig deeper into high performance home philosophy is by taking these NAHB designation courses. Not only will you gain a greater understanding, you will also have a distinct marketing advantage once you have earned those credentials. Knowing that there is a disconnect in how we as professionals talk about green homes, not only with each other, but also with consumers, NAHB and the National Association of Realtors decided to collaborate on an educational initiative called Home Performance Counts. The initiative has two main goals. One, strengthen communication about high performance building strategies and design among builders and realtors. And two, give consumers who are interested in quality, comfort, lowering costs, and health a resource to consult and learn what type of questions to ask, as well as who to ask. As an example, the tool featured here gives a listing of keywords and phrases that resonate with buyers. It also gives a list of phrases that is not understood or seen to be favorable by home buyers. We see that instead of saying a house has low flow water fixture, consumers would better understand and be interested in a water saving feature. Same goes for saying materials are low maintenance instead of having reduced upkeep. There are about 20 pairs of these, say this, not this, and it's a good tool to use and evaluate your own marketing materials and websites. These slight shifts in how we speak about homes make a big difference. And ultimately, it's about understanding what a home buyer is really asking for, even when they aren't 100% sure. This tool featured here was created to help guide us as professionals on how to talk about home performance with potential home buyers. The tool also helps consumers navigate discussions with builders, designers, and realtors about home performance and features to look for. And this educational initiative comes with several resources that are available for professional consumption. As an example, there is a video that is public and can be used to explain some of the basics of high performance features and benefits. And lastly, when it comes to the Home Performance Counts initiative, there are one-pagers like what's featured here with statistics on making the case for communicating clearly the benefits of green homes and in a way that is easily understandable. So I hope that provided an overview of some of the features or some of the resources that you already have access to as if you're a member of TAB and NAHB. We're gonna take a moment to open it up for questions. Sloan, I think, has been monitoring that as well. And so, Sloan, are there any questions?
Yes, we do have one question. With the 2021 IEC already out and published, which cities do you anticipate will be the first to jump on board? James, do you have a... Oh.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah, I'm just trying to unmute myself here. Sorry.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. So the 2021 was published in December and it hit the streets in January, February timeframe. I know that a lot of North Texas cities have it on their radar. There's a few folks on this call, as well as myself, that are involved in the Council of Governments process of locally amending the 2021 Energy Code for the North Texas region. So I would fully expect that once the software catches up to the code requirements and has that integrated into their tools, and the state has had a chance to evaluate it, I would fully expect to see cities like Fort Worth has already confirmed that they are going to adopt it in January. I would suspect, all of the cities around the 380 corridor up in North Texas between Denton and McKinney, they are always, first on board to kind of adopt these more advanced codes, whether they're as published or with local amendments. That's still kind of up in the air at this point in time. And then going down to Climate Zone 2, you usually see the usual folks that like to jump on board with the latest codes, such as City of Austin, City of San Antonio, down in the Houston region. It's a little bit less likely that a lot of cities will jump on board, but that's always unpredictable. But I would certainly say those on the call that are building homes or remodeling homes in the North Texas region, to be ready by the end of this year, to get your designs ready, to be prepared for that 2021, because there are some significant differences between that code. Even if it is going to be locally amended, there are some pretty significant differences between that and what we're already used to building to, whether it be the 2015 or the 2018 energy code standards.
We have another question. How prevalent or accessible are HERS raters, and what is the cost?
Is that another one for me?
Sure.
So I would say if you build in any of the major metropolitan areas in Texas, whether it be Dallas, Fort Worth, Austin, Houston, San Antonio, even up and down the coastline in Corpus, you have many HERS raters at your disposal, and probably many HERS raters that are actively involved at your local HBA. If you go further west towards the Panhandle and like Midland, Odessa regions of the state, you may have a couple out there. I know they exist, and often out in El Paso as well. I know there's a few companies out there that are actively involved in the region that are HERS rating providers. But if you do operate in the major metropolitan areas, I can count 20 off the top of my head that are actively involved in those regions. And then what was the second part of that question?
Do you know the average cost associated with it?
It varies based off of whether you build more on a production scale versus a very detailed custom builder. So, it can range anywhere from $400, and this is just for HERS rating services turnkey. I'm not incorporating all the things that go into your energy spec packages that are going to be necessary to comply with the codes. But like, as far as just HERS rater services in general, generally speaking, you're probably looking somewhere in the $400 to maybe upwards of $800-900 on your big, $1 million plus custom jobs that are out there. And that's a rough ballpark. I mean, every market is different, obviously. And whether your HERS raters that you're shopping are capable of doing high volume or not, you can get some cost savings with that. But there's a lot of really good ones that their bread and butter is custom guys, and they are really good at consulting with the custom builders and walking them through the entire process. But it's, that's a higher value, and they earn every penny of it.
We have another question. Does TDLR or state law have an issues with the rater doing an Emmanuel J?
You want me to take that one, Heather?
Yeah, sure.
So we are an independent third-party HERS rating provider that also does energy code enforcement. We have opted out of doing third-party HVAC design because we do not have a license holder on staff, and that would be my recommendation to anybody that is getting HVAC design, whether it be directly from your HVAC contractors or through a third party. You need to have that design done by a licensed, TDLR licensed in the state of Texas HVAC designer / contractor. I would not roll the dice and stray away from that.
Yeah, and I 100% agree. I'll just mention, Jacqueline put it in the chat box, but in case you're on the phone and can't see, NHB offers code adoption toolkits that might be interested to some of you that are, especially if your jurisdiction is considering moving to the 2021 code. So if you want to send Jacqueline an email, she can put you in touch with the staff working on that. So that's a great resource.
We do have another question. Would you compare the use of ICUs, SIPs, advanced framing, etc., as far as economics and efficiency?
So I'll first say that a lot of it depends on the design of a home. Some homes, I guess, capture the efficiencies of let's say SIPs more than a home right next door, but that has like a really chopped up roof, you know, and so it's conditional, I guess, first of all, but from our experience, the cost lowest to highest, at the bottom we have of what we do at least is advanced framing with spray foam, and then SIPs, and then ICFs. I know there's other builders in the North Texas market that are building with ICFs. We have quite a few people reach out to us really curious about that and wanting to incorporate it in their project, but we're finding it in our limited experience hard and harder to fit within their budgets. And so there is a stair step in cost. And then part of it depends on how long the homeowners plan to occupy the home. If they only think they'll be in it 5 to 7 years, it's hard to make that jump on the extra investment up front. And so it just depends. But ICFs and SIPs are both great products. We use them any chance we can. It just really depends how far the client's budget will stretch, and if it's a good fit in that way is usually the biggest determining factor.
I think those are all the questions that we have for today. I really want to thank Heather and James and Jacqueline for your input and knowledge in this area. We also really want to thank Ferguson for sponsoring this session today. We would not have been able to bring it to you without their sponsorship. So thank you to Ferguson. And again, this recording will be available on our TAB YouTube channel. And we appreciate you joining us today. Thank you.